Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Blair, or the Illuminaughtii, and today we're going to be talking about yet another MLM here on Multi-Level Mondays. And what can I say? They do seem to be a bit endless. Now, this one is called Rodan and Fields, or RNF, and it's a skincare product MLM. Now, I've done a bit of a deep dive on them before, but it was really only pertaining to a lawsuit a while back rather than the company in their entirety. So I'm pretty sure plenty of you know that they're terrible, but maybe not the scale of the problem. So aside from the fact that they are already really shady as an MLM and just, casually coasting on that line between a pyramid scheme and an actual legitimate business, there are plenty of shady things to go around with this company. So let's not waste any more time and let's get right into those nitty-gritty details. RNF was founded by Katie Rodan and Kathy Fields, hence the name, obviously. Most MLMs I've seen have really low qualified individuals starting these companies. Usually their founders have been in an MLM before, but have little to no experience in the actual field of products they are actually in. There are a few exceptions to prove the rule, and RNF is definitely one of them. Katie and Kathy are both doctors, dermatologists even, and I know, right? That's crazy. They're actually educated in the field of skincare when marketing a skincare product. It's revolutionary for MLMs, honestly. But this really isn't something you see all that often when examining MLMs. Anyway, before RNF came out in around 2007, Katie and Kathy founded Proactive, and I'm calling them by their first names here because I just don't want it to get confused with the brand itself. That's kind of what happens when the brand is just the hybrid of your last names. Now, a vast majority of you have probably heard of Proactive. It's the 3-step skincare treatment that blew up in the 90s and remained absolutely huge in the early 2000s before there was much competition on the scene. Hell, I remember going to the mall when that was a thing and even seeing the vending machine that sold Proactive plans, which was a bit weird, but it really does give you an example of the scale of how popular and accessible that product was. But with a product that huge, some giants are most certainly going to get involved, like our favorite one, Nestle. In 2016, Nestle Skin Health entered a joint venture with Proactive, so for me, that gives them a little less credibility actually, and if you don't already know how I feel about Nestle, well, there's a whole 2-parter video already on my channel and it is primed and waiting for you. Now, it did take some time for Kathy and Katie to actually find success with Proactive. The idea came to Katie in 1989, and she called Kathy to get her on board. Forbes reported that at the time, both doctors were frustrated by the lack of new acne treatments. Drug companies took the view that the market was too small for the research investment it required, which meant that the only options were ineffective spot treatments with strong chemicals. It would be a dentist saying, "Don't brush all your teeth, just brush the tooth with a cavity," says Fields. It didn't make sense to us as dermatologists. And so they spotted a gap in the market and they went for it. Proactive became one of the most popular brands of all time. However, it wasn't because the product itself was revolutionary, it was the marketing. Proactive had absolutely gigantic celebrity endorsements from Katy Perry, Justin Bieber, Jessica Simpson, and even Avril Lavigne. In the 90s and early 2000s, those people were everything. And selling that shit in a mall where teenagers would hang out all the time, and man, do I feel old saying that, but it was a smart move. In fact, the active ingredient in Proactive is benzoyl peroxide. It's safe for most people, don't go freaking out if that's in your skincare products, but benzoyl peroxide works by peeling away the skin to get rid of the dead skin cells, excessive oil, and bacteria that might be trapped underneath. It does have a general itchiness, swelling, redness, those kinds of things as side effects, and it won't work for everybody, but it is an option for most people. So why do I bring this up? Why get into the details of Proactive? Well, RNF is actually a lot like Proactive in its own way, simply just taken up a notch. Except instead of an average product that's aggressively marketed by celebrities and the large corporation that owns it, RNF are poor quality, even dangerous products marketed by Hunbots. Katie and Kathy didn't actually improve upon any aspect of Proactive or their skincare knowledge. Any credit I could have possibly given them fell to pieces when they created RNF. And I don't know if it was greed or sheer stupidity, but if I had to guess, it was probably a combination of the two. And so in 2007, RNF was born. Now, according to their own website, RNF was actually created in 2000, quickly acquired by Estee Lauder, then bought back by Katie and Kathy in 2007. So the RNF we're discussing here isn't the RNF Estee Lauder used to own, but the MLM we know and hate today. Since 2008, the company has grown its innovative line of products and expanded into Canada, Australia, and Japan. Headquartered in San Francisco, California, RNF now employs 500 plus people, has more than 300,000 enrolled independent consultants, and over 2 million preferred customers. Rodan and Fields' skincare philosophy is based on multi-med therapy. The right ingredients in the right formulations in the right order deliver visible results. With its product efficacy and disruptive business model, Rodan and Fields is life-changing skincare. Yeah, life-changing. We'll get to that. I'll be sure to put that phrase in the back of my mind, and we'll remember that in just a little bit here. Now, with Katie and Kathy actually being dermatologists and having such a recognizable brand name under their belt, though, I can absolutely see why people would be inclined to trust them. And apparently, they are using that trust to charge $350 fucking dollars for a lash boost and redefined regimen because, woohoo, that is expensive. One of these sticks of lash boost that they want to charge is $150 and $80 for a moisturizing treatment. And listen, it's been a while since I've seen an MLM overcharge to this extent that I almost forgot how absolutely ridiculous it is. So before I tear them to pieces here, let's just see if there's some diamond dust or gold flakes or something in this so that they can actually justify their prices. You know, maybe they have some magic clay that's like very exclusive and it actually is like the holy grail, but let's take a look. And so here I looked at one of their most basic products. It's a daily cleansing mask. It's $44. The top ingredient is kaolin clay. It gently cleans the skin. It's also been called white clay and china clay as well. It's frequently used in skincare. No surprise there. Beneath that, there's a granulated exfoliator, which just means little grains are added to help get rid of dead cells. Not a hard concept to understand here. It's a pretty simple granulated clay cleansing mask. And you can see the entire ingredient list right here, and there's just nothing like insanely revolutionary here. This is pretty common in most skincare products. So the question still remains is, are these products worth the $44? Is this specific cleanser worth $44? And the answer to me at least is no. I found dozens of other kaolin clay masks that work the exact same way with very similar ingredients and very similar orders of the ingredients for much, much cheaper. One on Amazon with great reviews, by the way, is as low as $7. Might pick that up for myself because, you know, I love a little bit of a mask day as we get into the fall season. And, you know, if you think that's an outlier, well, you're wrong there too. Here's another kaolin clay mask from the Inky list on Sephora, and it's also really highly rated, and it's for $7 as well. And when you literally look up kaolin clay mask on Amazon, at the time I recorded this, it gave me 496 results. So I sorted it by price point, high to low. After going through 3 pages, I just kind of realized, you know, that I could have done that all along. But anyway, the only 3 products, or 4 if you count one that's unavailable, were over $40. The vast majority of the products are less than $20. So it's like that with the rest of Rodan and Fields products. This is literally just one example. And like, this is just how overpriced and insane their products are. But again, the question is why? And I think the answer is because their downline has to make some money and they get a percent. But again, because MLMs are jacking their prices up instead of paying their employees a living wage, you know, then we're dealing with this kind of situation where we're speculating instead of knowing an answer. They would rather make their customers pay essentially those lost wages and make as much profit as they can possibly make off of their backs, which is a little sad. So things seem to be all right for RNF for a while, and by all right, I just mean that they flew under the radar for some time. Their Wikipedia page is oddly empty as well, and I've mentioned that in the past that their history is anything but clean, so you know that this isn't quite accurate. One of their largest issues to date is the lawsuit that I mentioned earlier, all because of their Lash Boost products, and I swear to God, it's like Unique, now RNF, and it's like these companies are stubbornly determined to make shitty lash products. So anyway though, the plaintiffs in this case were Barbara Lewis, Akemi Buckingham, Elaina Hufnagel, and Teresa Gattuso. Although these 4 women were the ones suing RNF, many others have come forward claiming to have these issues as well, and we'll get to that in just a moment. The lawsuit states that this matter artists out of defendant Rodan and Fields' deceptive labeling and unlawful marketing of its Enhancements Lash Boost eye serum. At this point, the serum had only been on the market for a couple years since 2016, and problems were already starting to arise. Not only was RNF not disclosing the serum's side effects, but doctors knew the risks associated. One of the ingredients, isopropyl cloprostenate, is a synthetic prostaglandin analog. I know that sounds like a bunch of nonsense, but to put it in layman's terms, they used a drug that was used to treat glaucoma and they put it in their eye serum. So like, this just isn't something people are supposed to use every day just to make their eyelashes look better. They're used to increase the drainage of aqueous overflow from the eye. In open-angle glaucoma, fluid doesn't flow freely from the meshwork of your eye, which increases pressure and it damages your optic nerve. So these drugs increase that flow, and the recommended dose for these kinds of drugs is 1 drop once a day. And that's for the patients that actually need it. But R&F saw these products, and you know what they said? They said, yeah, let's put it on our eyelash serum. You don't need to know all the terms, and you don't need to know what kind of drug this actually is. But then again, R&F only saw the side effects of these things as like not a big deal. As Pharmacy Times states, side effects are similar across 4 analogs. There's multiple types, R&F uses one of the 4. One common side effect is changes in eyelash and vellus hair, fine, barely noticeable hairs. These changes include increase in length, thickness, pigmentation, and number. Rarely, fine hair can grow on the eyelid skin or corner of the eye. Some eyelashes can grow so long that they turn in and rub on the cornea, causing irritation and a foreign body sensation. These effects appear to be reversible upon discontinuation of the treatment. And obviously, this isn't the only side effect. Pharmacy Times also says this: they can also cause ocular inflammation. Generally, the medication should not be used in patients with active intraocular inflammation because they can exacerbate the inflammation. And the Pharmacy Times goes on to just list all these other side effects, and it's just like its own little paragraph of horrible things that can happen to you if you use this like for a long period of time and it's just not working for you. You know, like if you don't have glaucoma and you use this to make your eyelashes bigger. You know, just not pointing anything out specifically, but just saying. And wouldn't you know it, in the lawsuit, there's some of this and more listed as side effects. Is this what they meant by life-changing products earlier? See, I told you I'd get back to it. This is like if a gym or a weight loss program started recommending pills that were really meant for someone with serious intestinal issues, but they happen to have a side effect of losing a few pounds. This drug is not meant for the general public to use and consume in terms of, you know, being a consumer product. And if Katie and Kathy weren't doctors, I'd be calling them stupid. But they're doctors, they're dermatologists, and this information is so easily accessible, I didn't really even have to work all that hard to find out what this means. And I barely understood most of the medical language used on it in my first read-through. So let's be clear here, Katie and Kathy didn't do this unintentionally. This information is literally like a 5-minute Google search away. They made this product that can absolutely boost your lashes, but you just might go blind in the process because lol, isn't that worth it? Because somewhere along the way, they forgot about the oath doctors take to help people. And honestly, maybe this will sound extreme, but I don't know. Should they maybe have their medical licenses reevaluated for this, or at least have them put into question? I don't really know the process, but perhaps. They knowingly put this product out to the public, had a bunch of hunbots who do not know the information truly and the side effects about what this does, and they sell it for asinine prices, $150 a tube, and they're perfectly aware that it could make people go blind, and they did nothing. Now, I've already read through a lot of this lawsuit here, so I'm just gonna summarize. A prostaglandin analog is supposed to be FDA approved. However, instead of putting Lash Boost through the FDA review process and having to make a thorough disclosure of the side effects associated with prostaglandin analogs, Rodan and Fields markets Lash Boost as a cosmetic. And this is a huge problem here. If it were marketed as an enhancement product, they'd be subject to regulations, but cosmetic companies get away with a lot, and we've seen the same issue with Unique, other MLMs, and non-MLM companies. Now, Canada's at least got their shit together a little bit more, and they banned these analogs, while consumers of Lash Boost throughout California and New York have experienced serious side effects, including change in iris color, eyelids drooping, itchy eyes, eye and lid discoloration, thinning and loss of eyelashes and eyelash hair, eye sensitivity, eye infections, and vision impairment. Now, for most people, if you have vision in your eyes, you do rely on your eyesight every single day. So, I'm just gonna be blunt here, but longer lashes are not worth losing my fucking sight over. I mean, how could you even weigh those two odds of sight versus long eyelashes and choose longer eyelashes? So now this is where Procter & Gamble, the owners of Gillette, Ivory, Olay, and Old Spice, just to name a few of their well-known brands, went up against R&F. They actually filed a dispute when R&F claimed that the retinol in their anti-aging renewing serum has 20 times the strength of Procter & Gamble's retinol. Needless to say, P&G weren't too happy, and they don't fuck around. CBS News stated, Procter & Gamble sent Rodan and Fields a cease and desist letter in December 2017 over what Procter considered to be false and misleading claims on Rodan's website, YouTube videos, and social media posts made by Rodan's independent consultants about the efficacy of retinol and the intensive renewing serum. 2 months later, Procter & Gamble filed a complaint against Rodan and Fields with the National Advertising Division of the Better Business Bureau. Cincinnati-based Procter requested that the NAD order RNF to quit making the misleading claims or risk a referral to the Federal Trade Commission. Olay questioned the accuracy and truthfulness of RNF advertising of its intensive renewing serum and, in line with industry standards, filed a complaint with the NAD. Kate DiCarlo, a spokeswoman for Olay, wrote in an email. We are disappointed that RNF refused to participate in the self-regulatory process and instead sought protection in federal court. If RNF really meant to stand by these claims, then where are the facts to back it up? I don't see why it would be so hard for you to just put it out there. Show your studies, you know what I mean? In no uncertain terms. Show that your retinol is stronger. Prove it. You know, you're making claims, so why can't you back it up? And this is the type of thing that just really gets me with these MLMs, this seems to be a novel concept to them. Just, we believe our product's stronger, but then you go around claiming that it is, and the two are not the same, and you can't do that because you get in trouble like this. But of course, these things are actually still ongoing right now with RNF, and they have filed many motions to dismiss, making the process drag on even longer. A hearing on class certification has yet to be scheduled because of everything going on right now, but if a motion is granted, things can continue into the lawsuit portion, the good stuff. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but regardless of the outcome, I'm not sure it would even really break this company at this point. All of this came out, by the way, while they were apparently the #1 skincare brand in North America in terms of total sales. And in 2017, they actually might have been. Hell, $1.3 billion in sales is nothing to scoff at. But the reason for that isn't because they're incredible, fairly priced, and effective as far as I can tell. It's because their starter kits start at $170, and RNF has managed to rope 300,000 people into their expensive little pseudo-pyramid scheme. And think about it, the business portfolio that they have for sale is $45. You don't get any product with that, it's literally just the kit. Then the personal results kit, which you need to be able to vouch for the products, that costs $395. They also have a core kit for $695 and an ultimate kit for $995. So I'm going to make a pretty safe assumption and say that these women joining will spend about $500 to join. I think that's a fair guess, with the lowest kit being $395 and the most expensive being $995. If you think every single one went for the cheapest kit, that's fine. Tear me to shreds in comments about it. I don't know. But let's assume for right now, middle ground, it's $500. So we've got 300,000 people times $500 for the cost of the kit. That is over $150 million, and that's just for the cost of the kits, not any additional products that they might use. I mean, of course RNF is gonna make money when they have 300,000 loyal customers, some of them loyal to the point of shoving the company down their friends' throats, breaking up friendships, ruining like family life, that whole thing. Besides, if we want to reverse those numbers, divide 1.3 billion by 300,000, that's 4,333. So even if literally all the profits were divided equally among the Huns, not including the owners or any of that shit, just the Huns, each would get $4,000 for a year's worth of work. And that's fucking insane. None of this adds up to a real job. But let's finish doing the math, or looking at other sites that have done the math more securely than I do, and take a look at the income disclosure statements, because 90% of the consultants make less than $200 a month. 96% earn less than $600. But Kathy Fields herself, of course, is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.4 billion, and it can apparently take years to get on the waiting list to become her dermatology patient. So yeah, that's a little bit discouraging, isn't it? Well, don't worry, it gets even better. During the initial portion of the pandemic earlier in 2020, the RNF Huns were some of the worst out there. And I know this because it was bad enough that the FTC actually had to warn RNF that the claims unlawfully represented the RNF business opportunity. Let's take a look at some of those claims. Rodan and Fields is always open for business, even during quarantine. I've been working from home for over 3 years now and still making money when other people aren't. Isn't it about time you found out what it is I do and how this company really works? #work from home, #financial freedom. We all need something to fall back when our plan A crumbles. For many, many people right now, the plan A is no longer providing. Given that we are all home trying to manage this new normal, let's chat and get your questions answered and get started with that plan B up and running, bringing in that extra income. Hashtag extra income, hashtag financial freedom. The text accompanied an image with the text "no risk, no experience required, and can be profitable immediately." And how funny is it that the FTC actually had to take the Hunbot hashtags into their statement? That's just great to me personally. But anyway, I have mentioned many times before how fucking disgusting I think it is that Huns would try to take advantage of terrible situations, including a pandemic. And apparently, these RNF Huns didn't sit well with the FTC, thank God. The earnings claims were misleading, deceptive, and fucking embarrassing, to say the least. The FTC said to RNF, "You are advised to review these claims relating to your business opportunity and immediately cease and require your business opportunity participants and representatives to cease making claims that are not supported by the evidence or substantiation described above." And God, that is just so satisfying to read. I love hearing an MLM get chewed out so publicly like that. Oh, it's just delightful. Now, obviously though, this isn't the end for RNF. They've still got many lawsuits pending. They still seem to be going strong. Personally, I'm a little furious with these two dermatologists and how they can retain their license and yet put people in harm's way. I guess we've got to seriously start researching our own dermatologists now, because yeah, you gotta know who you're going with and what they study and apparently what they believe in, but also make sure they apparently don't own an MLM that will be willing to cause you blindness for longer lashes. But before I end today's video, I want to read a few reviews from Consumer Affairs and tell you of a couple horror stories from former clients to further get my point across that MLMs harm people. And in case you couldn't tell from people potentially going fucking blind, let's go ahead and let's take a look. This MLM is a scam. I ordered $300 worth of product, tried to cancel within 24 hours, and they would not cancel my order even though it has not even shipped yet. Said I had to receive items and pay for the return shipping. I asked to cancel my order so nobody pays for shipping. They won't pull the order. Guess it's a cool way to get more money from their overly priced gimmick junk anyways. I am so done with this ridiculously high-priced MLM scam of a business. The high-pressure sales drive me nuts, but their return cancellation policy is ridiculous. I wanted to let consumers know that the packaging for the two Rodan and Fields products I purchased are deceiving. My microdermabrasion abrasion paste jar came apart to reveal a smaller jar nestled inside of it. The outer jar was substantially larger. I also bought the active hydration and noticed the jar was extremely heavy for the amount of product left inside. It was almost gone and the jar was very heavy. I think it's a deliberate deception. I'm sure the ounces listed are accurate, but it definitely tricks you. I haven't broken open the hydration jar, but I'm guessing there's a hidden second container that's smaller. Buyer beware. I considered using this company and products to generate an income. My sponsor was very aware I was signing up for the trial period. My error was I thought the time period was longer than I thought it was. I was left with $1,000 of products that I couldn't use, and the paperwork RNF required was an impossible task. The products are not better than what you can find in a chemist. The difference is they will continue to bill you monthly, which is annoying. And this is just 3 of over the 60 ratings that were available there. So not only will you get an overpriced product, but their returns policy is difficult, and apparently they deceive you with how much product you get, and the trial period is misleading as well. As for those that have worked there, the stories aren't much better either. RNF leaves so many people with hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of product, and those aren't even the Hun bots that say the management is horrible. They don't like the CEO. Some of it call it a toxic work environment. They've got less than 3 reviews on Glassdoor, and it's not even from disgruntled former Hun bots. So overall, I don't have any positives about this company. Not a single good thing I can say, as is the most case with MLMs. I mean, hell, even if their products work, they're extremely expensive and they really are not the only clay cleanser on the market. We can just hold out and kind of hope that that lawsuit might put a serious dent in their credibility as a company the same way that the Monet and LuLaRoe lawsuits have done previously. But with all of that being said, that's where I'm going to end today's video, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please take a moment to hit that like button, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe. If you need to take a break from all the serious topics I cover here on my channel on a weekly basis, you can pop open my description box. You're going to find links for all of my social media, second channel for my puppy Casper, Sad Milk collab channel, all the good stuff. Links are down below. So again, guys, thank you so much for making it to the video. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!